I've been sitting with this thought for a while now. Why does nothing feel enough anymore? A rough question, I know. Who am I to even ask such a thing with a roof over my head, a pantry stocked with chocolate bars, and a life that on paper looks fine? But to be honest, I've been going through a kind of crisis, a meaning crisis, and I wonder if I'm the only one.
I'm struggling for reals.
Maybe it's part of growing up, but it feels bigger than that. I've noticed that not only in myself but everywhere around me. There's this sense that people are always rushing for the next big thing, losing sight of what matters, or maybe never even figured it out in the first place. Hi, I'm Clarity, and in this video journal, I'm exploring the meaning crisis. I was 22 when I became disabled overnight, and that's when I first started questioning what I was living for. I called that chapter of my life the sidelines. Life forced me to pause and question how I could lead a meaningful life. Up until that point, I thought that's what I did. I thought living a life of meaning meant to constantly be in a state of pursuit, by setting and chasing bigger, grander goals that society would approve of. In fact, it makes sense. Goals are a necessary part of human continuity. How else would we have survived as a species if it wasn't for our goal-directed behavior? Our ancestors had to set certain goals within a time frame, like building shelters before storms or securing foods before winter to survive. But in this day and age, with convenience right at our fingertips, it can seem like there is no daily battle of survival. However, our nervous systems and state of mind tells us otherwise. A subtle shift took place in the ways we approach our goals. Now, we still push ourselves to hit milestones, which isn't a bad thing, but the problem lies when the goals we set for ourselves aren't quite meaningful to us. The intention behind our goals matter. That's when I started asking myself, are the goals I'm setting really about testing my potential and building the future I dream about? Or are they about wanting others to notice and approve of me? Am I doing this because I genuinely want to have, do, or be these things? Or because I want to be seen having done them? And this is exactly when my anxiety started to spike, because I wasn't just thinking about goals in theory, I was also painfully aware of my time. Losing some of my time to recovery made me feel like I was already behind in life. And when you carry that sense of urgency, it's hard to feel like anything is enough, no matter what we do or don't do.
Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Sit down or lay down and prepare for breathing.
So I just woke up from a nap and I woke up with anxiety, and I tell myself I don't know why, but the more I ponder on that question, it's that sense of time that gives me anxiety. Now I understand what people mean by that quarter life crisis. It was just hitting me how fast time flies, and I feel like I don't have my together and I'm scared of wasting my time. There is that societal expectation where you have to get your house by 30, you have to be married by 30. But the older I'm growing up and the more I'm just like being intentional with my energy and all the baggage I'm carrying, it's like, oh my gosh, why is society putting that pressure on us, you know? I'm catching my anxiety trying to tell me that this isn't allowed, that I should be somewhere right now, I should be doing something right now, I should be married by now, I should be doing all these things, and I'm like, ooh, it's just hitting me how hardwired the media and just so many subliminal messages there are out there regarding our timeline. Literally, I just took a nap and I woke up feeling anxious because I felt so bad about it. I feel like it was only yesterday when I turned 20. There's this thing in society where you're supposed to hit all these milestones by like a certain age. Those things take time, and all the more when you're still figuring yourself out. There are some people that have hit those milestones in their life that society said was the right path, but then they don't actually feel like they lived their life properly until they were in their 40s or 50s. Like, for example, my mom, she's in her early 50s now. She was telling me that it's only recently she's starting to feel like she's actually living her life on her own terms. Everyone has such different lives, and for society to really dump that image on everyone is like, it's not really realistic, you know? I guess I'm mostly experiencing anxiety on how I should manage my time and navigate my time. So on the one hand, I want to make the most use of my time and like figure out quickly exactly what I want to do. But then on the other hand, I want to savor it, you know, savor the freedom I have right now. I'm just gonna eat this cake. Not me emotional eating. I definitely gotta book my therapy session. I wish I could be a cat.
The first way I tackled this meaning crisis was by redefining my goals. Instead of living by a clock, I decided to start living by a compass.
2 miles, done. Let's keep going.
It's not about how fast I get somewhere, but about the direction I'm heading in. I zoomed out of the lens of instant gratification and valued the bigger picture, ensuring that my goals are fulfilling and meaningful to me, no matter how long they take or how they're perceived by others. And that shift showed up in my running journey.
So, I just came back from a run. I've been training for a 5K run. I know it might not sound like much, but to me, it's such a meaningful goal because when I was first diagnosed with FND, I set a goal for myself. Start off just to relearn how to gain control over my feet, just being able to walk again, just the small steps. But during that time of recovery, I signed up for a Nike marathon run, but I wasn't able to run that event because I still didn't gain control over my legs, and that really made me feel a bit defeated. Now that I've regained control over my body, I've been training for the next 5K run. And today I trained again. I had a moment while I was jogging where a song started playing on my Spotify that I haven't heard in such a long time. And music has the same effect as perfume. You know when you smell a scent that you haven't smelled in so long and you're like flooded with memories and it like hits you all at once? The song that played on my Spotify was Altar by Kehlani. When that song started playing, I just got wrapped up in so much emotion because the last time I heard that song, I was going through it. Like I remember feeling so low about myself and thinking like, when is my life gonna change? When is my life gonna get better? And then I went on a run again today. That song came out and I started like tearing up while running because that version of me would never have fathomed the things I've experienced and how blessed I am today. Not just because of my recovery, but all of the things that just lined up perfectly in my life. And now I've got my independence in this cute apartment. I got my Ash. I feel like I'm rebuilding my sense of self and my identity. This is the first time in my life where I'm starting to feel like things might actually be okay. Ashi keeps hugging me, right, Ashi? It's the same song but such a different state of being. Just seeing and feeling that difference made me feel so grateful. And then immediately after, the song that played was Congratulations by Post Malone, and I'm like, it's so perfect. It literally wrapped up the state I was feeling, and so I felt even better running, you know? People do 5K park runs every weekend, but for me it's such a meaningful goal. Don't underestimate the quote-unquote small goals you set for yourself, because they're like trophies to hold on to, you know? Even if that means just getting up in the morning. It's been a long time since you've cleaned your room and you actually go out of your way to do it, or to just start. If it matters to you, that's all that matters. I've got to keep training, but yeah, that was my experience today, and I just feel so grateful.
Too often, we disregard the little achievements or small moments in our lives that actually matter, like the smile you give to a stranger or the meals your parents cook for you. They don't feel meaningful because we've grown accustomed to them. Novelty is a drug. Who doesn't love the thrill of something new and the rush of chemicals it brings? It's addicting but can also be a trap. What once excited us eventually fades into boredom, and before we know it, we take it for granted. It's usually only when those things are gone that we realize how important they were. I communed with God in prayer one day, confessing that I felt incomplete. And with a soft, stern voice, I heard, "If I took away everything in your life right now, would you finally see it was enough all along?" And it hit me. It was a definite yes. That's not to say we should stop setting goals for ourselves or to settle for what we have, but I realized that we create our own suffering by tying meaning and our sense of happiness only to what's next, instead of appreciating what already is. Because meaning isn't found in the grasp for more things or in the future, it's created in the now. They say that everything in this world is neutral. We tip the scale of neutrality once we assign meaning to experiences, people, or things, and that meaning we assign is our responsibility. It always fascinated me how two people can experience the same thing in life, but come out of that experience as completely different people based on the meaning they assign to that event. For me, I realized that too much self-focus had limited my sense of meaning. Chasing superficial goals or the kinds of things society would praise blinded me to a deeper truth. Meaning is magnified when you're not solely focused on yourself. We live in a culture so obsessed with the self, it's no wonder the meaning crisis feels more prevalent than ever. In that focus, we've turned a blind eye not only to the small daily moments that make up our lives, but also to the ways we create meaning through self-giving. Viktor Frankl once wrote that Being human always points and is directed to something or someone other than oneself, be it meaning to fulfill or another human being to encounter. The more one forgets himself by giving himself to a cause to serve or another person to love, the more human he is and the more he actualizes himself. And it feels like we've lost sight of that.
I've been trying to sketch out like a room layout for my neighbor so it's more accessible for her, so it's easy for her to like open the windows. I'm not an interior designer. I just want to make her life a bit easier and make her feel good in her home.
It can be as simple as offering a helping hand to a neighbor or showing up for a friend, being a warm presence in their life. The act of giving is a win-win situation for all involved. When we live this way, we naturally step into gratitude. When you give, you're reminded of what you already have to offer, your time, your presence, or your resources. That awareness in itself can lead you to a sense of wholeness, something that no amount of achievement or possessions can buy.
Really? Oh, that's good. Enjoy it, enjoy it.
Sige, kain na lang.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, see ya.
Mamaya na lang.
Gratitude is such a powerful tool. It doesn't cost anything to be grateful, yet it's powerful enough to change your entire state of being. Gratitude turns emptiness into completeness. When I focus on what I'm grateful for, I stop worrying about what I haven't done yet or what I'm missing. I just exist in the richness of the present moment. Part of the reason we feel like nothing is enough is simply because we forget to notice what we already have. The relationships in our lives, our simple cup of coffee in the morning, or the soft breeze of a peaceful day. Gratitude reminds us that life is already whole, even in the mundane, everyday moments.
My neighbor just made me dinner. Gestures like this, oh my god, it means the world to me. Maybe it's the little things I've been doing for others as well, and it's coming back to me in small ways. And it's really nice to receive gifts like this. I guess it's the intention and the gesture that warms my heart so much. So I'm going to enjoy my meal. Thank you to my neighbor. Thank you, God. Now let's dig in.
I'm hushing the dog on the chain. I'm running up stones on the edge of the bank. Rally the troops for.
I can't get over how beautiful the day is today. It's Sunday, everyone's at the park, walking their dogs. I'm probably the only one walking their cat. It's so funny because like when I take Ash out on a stroller, people have to do a double take because they're a bit confused, and then they realize the cat and they'll giggle. But I love it, makes their day. I've temporarily deactivated my social media accounts, but honestly doing that has been such a breather. Sometimes we're so plugged up online that we forget to take a moment out here, just noticing the small stuff. And I've been attending meditation classes twice a week. It's been so nice, like going into that space and all these people from different walks of life just gathering together for that inner stillness. I've been taking that out with me now. There's so much peace, and it honestly feels like I'm in heaven even though I'm on earth. Sometimes we forget that we can experience that state of mind here, but we get so caught up in the world. It's the little luxuries in life that bring the most joy or the most fulfillment. Honestly, Ash has been my meditation teacher. Cats are the best at being Zen masters after they're fed. Once they're hungry, they turn into something else. But for the most part, he's been my meditation teacher. Look at him. Good morning, y'all. So, what time is it?
7:50. I've actually been up since 5:30 a.m. or 5 a.m. I just decided to lay in bed and really savor the feeling of being able to wake up another day and feeling so blessed. I was just reflecting on how a few years back I used to dread the morning, especially when I had severe depression and anxiety. I used to go to bed dreading the next day, and when the sunlight would peek through my windows, for me it was terrible. For me it felt like, oh my gosh, another day of living. I don't want to do that. It's so interesting to me how as time goes on, nature does its thing, repeats itself, but you as a person change. And I felt it this morning. I woke up to my cat pulling on my face to wake up, and I heard the birds chirping. I saw a little bit of sunlight peeking through the windows, and I thought to myself, wow, I feel so blessed to wake up for another day. Whereas a few years ago, the very same things that today I felt so blessed for, a few years back, they were the very same things that for me was not a blessing. It felt like a curse, to be honest. I know it's such a strong word to use, but speaking honestly about the headspace I was in a few years back, I really dreaded another day. And when you're in it, it's so hard to see how things could change. It's your whole world, right? It's your whole existence at that point in time. So it's hard to even imagine something better for yourself. But I promise you guys, life does get better. There's always hope at the end of the tunnel. Things always change. Change is the only constant in life. Things are always changing. If I could go back in time and tell that clarity back then, is to tell her that I promise you, everything will be okay. I know right now it doesn't feel like it. I know right now it's so hard to get out of bed. And I know right now the fact that you could hear the birds chirping outside and the sunlight peeking through for you is a reminder of something you want to escape from. But I promise you in the future, it'll be something that'll actually ground you into the present and remind you of how special you are, how worthy you are, how loved you are, and that things do get better. Just don't lose hope. Be gracious with yourself. Be kind with yourself. If this is something you're going through right now, I also want to relay this message to you because it's something I personally went through. I have the belief that there is God, there is a higher intelligence at play, whether you call it the divine, the supreme. I do believe there is a source that connects all of us, no matter what religion you're from. Every time I called out for help, God always came to me. Being human ourselves, we're full of flaws, imperfections, wounds, pains, and traumas. And as much as I love my friends, I love my family, nothing can replace the position God has in my life, where when I feel like I have no one, I know God will always answer. I remember one of the first... I'll bring out the book. Just give me a second. This book is so old now. The first book that brought me onto my path of spirituality is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle or Tolle. I'm not sure how to say his last name. This book really changed the trajectory of my life. I feel like reading a page from this book that maybe we can read through together. I'll just randomly open one and see what it says. Maybe it'll be useful for you, and it's something I'm meant to hear today as well. Wherever you are, be there totally. Ordinary unconsciousness is always linked in some way with denial of the now. The now, of course, also implies the here. Are you resisting your here and now? Some people would always rather be somewhere else. Their here is never good enough. Through self-observation, find out if that is the case in your life. Wherever you are, be there totally. If you find your here and now intolerable, and it makes you unhappy, you have 3 options. Remove yourself from the situation, change it, or accept it totally. If you want to take responsibility for your life, you must choose one of those 3 options, and you must choose now. Then accept the consequences. No excuses, no negativity, no psychic pollution. Keep your inner space clear. If you take any action, leaving or changing your situation, drop the negativity first, if at all possible. Action arising out of insight into what is required is more effective than action arising out of negativity. Any action is often better than no action, especially if you have been stuck in an unhappy situation for a long time. If it is a mistake, at least you learn something, in which case it's no longer a mistake.
If you remain stuck, you learn nothing. Is fear preventing you from taking action? Acknowledge the fear, watch it, take your attention into it. Be fully present with it. Doing so cuts the link between the fear and your thinking. Don't let the fear rise up into your mind. Use the power of the now. Fear cannot prevail against it. Feel the power of this moment and the fullness of being. Feel your presence. I did my 5K run. I set this goal over a year ago when I first got diagnosed with FND. And even though I didn't get to make the Nike one, which, let me grab it. Even though I didn't get to run this event, for me, it's just the goal that I set for myself. And I achieved it, even if it's in a time frame I didn't expect. I thought I'd be able to achieve this goal way quicker, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter when it happens. I was able to meet a lot of wonderful people. It was so nice to be in that environment where we all can connect over transcending ourselves, and people that are really focused on their own lane. Even while I was running, it wasn't about like beating the person next to me or whoever was around me. It was genuinely just me in my own world, just focusing on my own personal goals, no matter what it looked like to the outside world. Leading up to this run, I had so many moments that were teaching me a lot about patience. It's the hidden work that you do behind closed doors that no one really sees. And even though, like I said, 5K seems like a very beginner goal, but people don't know what it took for me to be able to get here. It took me being able to like prime my mind into believing that it was possible, especially 2 years ago or a bit over a year when I didn't even think I could walk again. It was all about just showing up for myself, just showing up. Sometimes the meaning doesn't necessarily come from the actual goal itself, but from the journey, going through the highs and the lows, and just going through that human journey of realizing that maybe it's not about the end goal, it's about the act of becoming. The fact that I achieved my goal later than I had intended just made the experience a lot more richer, a lot more meaningful. A lot of meaning can also be found not just in the big grand moments of like crossing the finish line, but in the very small moments that often get overlooked. Those small personal victories you set for yourself, especially in this day and age where we're just trying to chase the next big thing so quick, so fast. But I've learned to find so much fulfillment in the little steps I take, the little slow, steady steps I take. It makes my life feel more complete, more whole. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I carried that mindset with me back then when I first got diagnosed, when I couldn't even tie my own shoes, when I couldn't even feed myself. That same mindset I carried with me now to bigger, like quote unquote, bigger goals. And it's something I'm so happy I learned. Right, Ash? The finish line only mattered because of the steps I took to get there.
So maybe the answer to why nothing feels enough anymore is this. Fulfillment isn't about having more, but realizing it lies in the dance between pursuit and presence, the pursuit of something greater and the presence for what is. When love and gratitude become the anchor holding that dance together, a life of meaning shines through. In that space, it's hard to feel like you're missing anything at all.